Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Python Freaks. So today's video is actually about a 2-week interview process of a product-based company, which I wanted to share with you all. Now, which company I will not explicitly name it, but I will just give you 2 pointers, and from that you will be able to make out which company it is. It's actually the top 3 networking-based company of the world, and it's also under the list of top 10 tech company to work around the world. So you can just Google it, and I know you will be able to find it. Now, so the reason why I'm not naming it, because it's actually against the company policy to name and share the exact question of an interview process. I know you might get a lot of interview videos similar to this, where they will mention the company name and the exact question as well. But it's just like I didn't want to take a risk, as my selection process is still undergoing, and that was the reason I didn't wanted to mention the company name. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. So the first point here is, how did I apply for this job? So I had updated my profile on LinkedIn, and also I had given all the relevant assessment which LinkedIn was suggesting me based on my profile. And based on that, LinkedIn was suggesting me couple of jobs, like you can just see on the screen as well. I've just pasted the screenshot of that, and out of all this job, I just went through the JD of all those jobs, and then I applied for that particular job that was relevant to my profile. So just a quick point to add here, since my profile was relevant to networking and storage, so these were the jobs that were suggested to me. Likewise, you can also update your profile, or alternatively search for job on LinkedIn as well. Based on your profile and experience, there will be a couple of jobs that will be shown to you also, and from there you can also apply for it. And if you're confused, or if you need any help, or want a detailed video on this as well, like how to apply for a job on LinkedIn or how to search a job on LinkedIn, please let me know in the comment section. We'll try to come up with that content as well. So what happens next? So after a week or so, I get a mail from the recruiter, which I was sure of because my profile was matching with the requirement, and all the mentioned skill in the JD was aligned with my profile. So I received 2 mails. One mail from the HR that my profile has been shortlisted, and the other mail was for the online programming question. So I was informed by the HR that once I take this online programming challenge, and based on my performance on that particular programming challenge, they will move forward with my candidature. So like you can see in the screenshot, this was the exact mail which I received for that online programming challenge, and this I just pasted for clarity purpose. So this was the first step. After this, there were some other steps also which I will be mentioning in the video. So I opened the mail, and I think you might have guessed the platform like on which this online programming will be done. But again, I don't want to name it explicitly. But yes, you are correct. This is the most common platform which every company uses. So it was that particular platform only. Now, since it was a 1.5 hour challenge, I preferred to take that particular exam in night, and because mostly I think like at night the things are like little bit calm and peaceful, and also we are done with our daily course. So now let's talk about how many questions were there. So there were exactly 5 questions, and but the thing is, like, I remember only 4 questions. One question like I'm not able to remember. So I have just pasted all those 4 particular problems in the screen as well. And the particular question was like which I was not able to remember. That was a medium level. You can just see it from lead code also. It was like something of that sort. Now let's come to the overall process for this online challenge. So the time would be 1.5 hours, but again it can vary from profile to profile. But the difference would be not very much. At least 1 hour of online programming challenge definitely you will get. Now coming to the question. There were 4 programming questions, out of which 4 I remember, and the first one out of this was a efficient janitor problem. You can just search in Google with the same title and you will get the problem. This was a little bit tricky problem and I was not able to solve it. Means I tried, but somehow the outputs were not, every test case was passing. Now, the next question was perfect substring problem. This also you can Google and you will get the problem. So this was again a medium level problem and I was able to solve it. The third question was how many words problem. This also I was able to solve it, and the problem was like you will be given a sentence and you should count the number of words in a sentence. Like basically all the substrings, that's all the strings that are present in a sentence. So words should be counted using any kind of white spaces. Like how will we count the words? Like wherever space comes, so by that logic we can make it out that the sentence is over. Same thing, it can, like you can use space, tab, new line, or comma, anything. It's not like every time space will be there. Like there will be instance where comma will be there, or tab will be there, or new line will be there, and even semicolon and full stop was included. But the only trick was there that in these questions, that if there is any special character between the words, let's say it's like job hyphen description. If it is a continuous word, so you have to ignore all the words that contained this special character in the between. So this also you can find it in Google. It will be like with the solution also you can find it. But I would suggest first give a shot, think about the logic, and then try to solve that program. And then the fourth question was counting proper fraction problem. So in this question also I was able to solve it, and it was like I will consider it as an easy question. So what you have to do is, like, you will be given a range, let's say 1 or 3, and then you have to print all the proper function within that given range. So what is a proper function? So a fraction has a numerator and a denominator. So the fraction whose numerator is smaller than its denominator, you have to print all those fractions. So this was actually a fairly easy problem and I was able to solve it. So for the coding round, I solved 3 problems correctly, and I was selected for the next round. Now, just a disclaimer for this interview process, like the interview can change a little bit, like based on the profile. Actually, one of my friend applied for this same particular company for the REST API automation. So in his case, there were 3 multiple choice question as well and 2 programming question. So basically 5 these questions were there, and then again there were 2 theoretical questions where he was told to explain REST API, like what is the REST API and what are the different basically CURD operations there are there, like create, update, delete, and remove. So all those operations he was told to explain. So bottom line is, like it's not like this will be the exact hiring process. There can be a slightly difference, but it will be not very drastic change. It will be some slight difference only. So post this programming challenge, I guess 2 days like after, like my programming exercise, whatever the program which I wrote was actually reviewed, and 2 days after I got a call for scheduling my next round, and they asked me like when I wanted a preferred date. So I choose a 3-day after, like I wanted to brush up my Python skills and my project concept. That's why I like selected a interview like slot after 3 days. So post that, my technical round was scheduled, and that particular technical round was of 1 hour, and the medium was Zoom call. And what were the questions in that? So interview started basically with the basics of Python, like how a ID to a variable is assigned, how the object mapping is done. Then many questions were around the list, tuple, and all the data types. Then a majority of the questions were from dictionary, like how to assign a values to a dictionary, how nested dictionary works, how can we update a list to a dictionary element, and then there were some questions from OOPS also, like deep concepts like what is a static method, what is a class method, what's the difference between static method and classic method, what's the use of init method, how can we inherit a class. So like it's like from basics to advanced, all the questions from OOPS and Python. And so the bottom line is, it's not only knowing about that some particular definition, but it's also you need to write the exact working code for the same with real-time example. Let's say if you are defining static method, where do we use static method and why do we use static method? Post you are able to answer this, then you have to write the exact example, like where are we using it and working code, and your code should run smoothly. Then only like it will be relevant, else it will not be like it will not make much sense if you are just able to answer the definition of that. So like I can say like some 20 to 25 minutes was like basically dedicated to Python. And post that there was some question from Linux. Again, Linux was also like from basics to medium, not very advanced questions were asked, but it was like basic to medium. Like how does an it was like suppose if we are creating a file, what are the different ways in which we can create a file? Let's say if we are creating a file via cat, we can also create a file via touch. So what's the difference between that? So not very much advanced, but yeah, basics to medium level questions were there, and it was like conceptual questions. And post that there was some basic networking question also, since I was mostly from the storage background, so not a very in-depth question was asked. But yeah, some basic question were there, like when does a network congestion happens, why does it happens, how can we avoid it, all those types of like scenario based question. And some basic steps were also asked from memory management of Python, like where are the objects stored, what are the things that are taken care in the memory management, does garbage collector exist in Python or not. So all those kind of memory management question. And apart from that, there were two programming questions with Python. So the first was like I would say a easy one, because I was told to demonstrate a real-time example of a static method and class method in Python, and with its uses. And I was told to run it on an IDE, and it should be working like a running code, not just like jumble XYZ code. Just to define the syntax, no, that will not do. You have to run the code and make it working. And then the other was a little bit tough question. You can just search in Google balanced bracket problems. So this was actually from the data structure point of view. So since not very much time was left, so the interviewer just asked me to explain me the solution, and like which data structure will I use, which will be the most relevant data structure should I use. And I was just told to explain the logic, so that I was able to do. So I was through with my first round. No, post this there was a second round scheduled, and again this was a Zoom call, and it was actually scheduled after a 2 days, 2 days gap. And this round was more specific to my past working experience, like about my explaining about my project architecture, how do we write a test case, how do we maintain it, how do we raise a bug, what are the basic flows that are particular companies follow, all those steps. Then since I had worked on Docker and Kubernetes also, and my profile was little bit aligned with DevOps, so many questions were there, like how Docker works, what are the issues, and like what are the issues and challenges that I face in my day to day life. Of course, some basic question also, like why do we use a Kubernetes and Docker, what's the problem with the monolithic architecture, how a microservice architecture works. So all those like project related stuff. Now, there were also some scenario kind of questions with respect to networking, like how do we transfer a file over a network? Like basically, I need to explain what happens under the hood. How do we, and then how do we make sure that file has been transferred completely? So basically, what happens? That's a common like common pattern which in which interview is followed. Like you will be given a question, and then based on your answer, questions will be connected on that. So similarly happens here also happens the same thing. Then again, some questions were there also from Linux, like how can we create a sorry, how can we create a directory what does a directory structure looks like in Linux. What is the difference between a root user and all those privileges and all those, and basically some question around the ch mode. What are the different permission that are there on Linux. Then a little bit exact about what exactly happens when a PC is booted. So this was also again a scenario based question where you have to exactly explain in detail what happens when a PC is booted. What are the underlying steps that are happening about that. So you had to explain in there, and then again few connecting question from the from this particular question as well. Now at the very end, one programming question was also there, and the question was like, I have to log in to uh, a network and then navigate to a particular folder and then sort the files based on the date, like whichever is created first. I have to like basically sort that. So the module which I was used was Paramico, so you can create a SSH connection via Paramico, and then all those steps were there. You can just Google it, you will find a relevant answer for there also. So this was all about the round two, and that lasted for 1 hour. So now at this point of time, I had done with my 2 rounds, and based on the conversation which I had with the recent joinees at my experience level, they told me that the next round would be HR round. Like basically, there are 3 rounds. One is the programming challenge, which I already done that. Then there was 2 technical rounds. So my 2 technical rounds were over. So the next round, which was pending, was HR round. So in that, it will not be some technical stuff, and it will be basically some behavior question like why is that I'm leaving my previous company, and what is that I looking from this particular job, like basically expectation from this particular job, and of course the salary negotiation. So it's like we have to wait for another 2 or 3 days and see how it goes. So basically I am standing where my 2 rounds are over and my HR round is pending. Now how can I say that? Because I did like overall did well in my second round as well. So I am very much positive that HR round will be scheduled, or like whatever the next round which is there. Okay, it's not like this will be the concrete thing. There might be a managerial round as well, or some one more technical round as well. So nothing sure, but based on the discussion which I had with the recent journeys, they told that on an average it's like 3 rounds, one programming and 2 technical. So this was all about the overall interview process. Now there are few takeaways with this particular interview process which I want to discuss. So the first misconception is there, like if you solve every question or answer every question which an interviewer has asked, then only you will be shortlisted for the next round. So it's nothing like that. Based on my experience, what I can say is, like if you're able to answer 70 to 80% of the question correctly, 20 to 30% is wrong, then also there is a high chance you will be shortlisted for the next round. And that is what happened in my case also. It's not like I was able to, like in the programming challenge, I was able to like write the code for only 3 programs, and 2 were not fully correct. One was partial correct, and the other one was like I did attempt only. So that was basically a very high level question, so I was not able to answer it. So the bottom line is, please don't trust on this thing or this kind of theories which are given to you, that if you solve every problem or if you answer every question that an interviewer asks, then only your profile will be shortlisted. So now let's discuss about the preparation strategy. What all things which I did, what all the reference material which I referred, and how many days roughly I spent for preparing this. So the material which I referred extensively was mostly Geeks for Geeks, and based on my opinion, I think that it's self-sufficient. You can even plan company wise, like if you are looking for, let's say you are preparing for Amazon, so you can just see based on your profile, and it's not like only for development engineer or SDET, all those profiles are there. Like basically it has a wide range of questions based on your profile. Like suppose if you are applying for QA, you can get the relevant profile for QA as well, and all the questions that are asked there. So I did the same. I referred for that Geeks for Geeks material. but for some extra knowledge and for some like just to explore a little bit, I also read the interview process and questions that were asked on, like they were that were updated on the other platform as well. Like you can also refer Glassdoor. They're also company wise, they will explain you what's the exact process, and with the exact question also, and they will give you some tips also, and you can even find the solution. And one more platform you can explore is Quora. So basically I just mostly focused on Geeks for Geeks, and then just for reference I referred Glassdoor and Quora. So this was basically my preparation strategy. And one last thing which actually helped me was talking to some people who recently joined the company. And as they also gave me a lot of tips, like how to prepare and what is the exact process, and what are the things that you should focus on, and what is the things that you need to ignore. So what happens when we are appearing for interview, there are a lot of things running to our mind, like we should refer this, we should learn this. So when you talk to people who have recently like joined that particular company, a lot of things and lot of strategy they will suggest you, which will help you in a tremendous way. So that's what happened with me also. I also talked to people and they suggested me couple of good things, so I just focused on that, and then luckily it worked for me. So the strategy which I followed for this particular thing was like preparation strategy was like I was clearing my basic concept, and I was trying to write the correct syntax of that whatever, like let's say I'm working for Python, so my skill was Python, so I learned how to write a class, how to define a class, how to inherit a class. So all those basics things should be done clearly. Like even for a smaller thing, like how do we declare a dictionary, how do we access a dictionary, how do we access only keys, how do we access only values, how do we iterate through dictionary. So all those things, basic things I first cleared, and that actually helped me a lot, because there were 2 3 questions that was very straightforward, and the only thing that the interviewer wanted to know was the correct syntax. Then I tried from some easy problem on lead code, and some couple of medium to hard, let's say like 5 to 6, not more than that, just for this thing, reference point of view I practiced that. And so this was pretty much about like my preparation strategy, like the steps which I took to prepare for this particular interview. And so basically I was and one more thing I want to add is, like it's not like a process, it's a process of 1 day or 2 day. Let's say your interview is scheduled today, so you will start learning it from today. I was learning, like preparing it for a long time. It's like I have made some particular notes, like let's say I'm working on Python, so I have made one generic notes, like how to define a class, all those things, and I time to time I just keep brushing on the those skills. So that actually helped me a lot. So it's not like only when your interview is scheduled, so what you do at that particular time will only matter. Because when you are applying for some such big product based company, right? Okay, so your 1 day or 2 day effort will not count. It should be at least like on a day to day basis, at least some, like every day you need to revise everything. Like suppose if you are doing some particular challenging task, okay, let's say you solved a issue which was very critical in your project, so you need to write it. And like what all the things which you did, okay, what was the exact thing that was causing the issue, and what exactly you did to overcome that issue or resolve that issue. So basically all those things also you need to like have a hands on. Because in interview, right, okay, apart from your programming skills, product based company mostly ask this question also, like how have you resolved some particular issue, what are the common issue that you had. So basically you should also be prepared for those kind of question as well. So this was it from this particular video. Hope you like the content, and this video would be somehow useful in some way. At least I hope that. And also I have given interview for a couple of other product based company in different domain as well. So we'll be sharing those interview process as well soon, maybe in 1 week or 2 week or so. I have planned that particular video. It's just I'm working on that. So if you want to be updated for all those video also, please subscribe to my channel and also share this video to anyone for whom this will be helpful. So that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching the video till the very end. See you all in my next video. Until then, keep coding, keep moving.